Monster-Taming games are my favorite genre of video games, and there are several elements out there that, makes a monster-taming game good. And one of the biggest elements are the actual designs of the monsters themselves, right? For some people, their only chance of them seeing your game are just based on your monster designs. So if they don't serve a certain purpose, fit a certain aesthetic, some people might turn off the game entirely based on the monster designs alone. But it's not the only thing that's needed, right? Because I've played many monster taming games where not all the monster designs were like the best, quote unquote, but the game was still fun. I really enjoyed it. But for some people, you got to pass the eyeball test. And so it's important to not get too caught up on the monster designs, because when all the elements of the games come together anyway, the designs will carry themselves, right? It's just one piece of the puzzle, and you definitely do want to make sure that you can nail it if possible, but don't let it be like the end-all be-all, if that makes sense. Another aspect within monster-taming games that I think is really important, that kind of gets overlooked by a lot of people, is what the role of the trainer plays within the game. So what I mean by that is the trainer just a character who's just there to give commands? Or they just gonna say, hey, use this attack, use this item, and that's it? Or do they play an active role within combat? So a way that I like this is within Digimon Story Time Stranger. You play as the agent, right? But not only does the agent give out commands to the different Digimon, the agent can also use skills within battle. You can also go into the agent skill tree and you can get different passive skills, which helps make your Digimon stronger, and you can be better prepared for different encounters. So not only do they play the role of as the tamer, quote unquote, but they also play an active role within combat and battles, and using your agent skills and building up your team is going to play a very important part within the game. So I do like that. Another example of the trainer playing an actual role within combat is with Animo. And within Animo, you get to play not only as the monsters, but also the trainer within combat. And you can switch between the two on the fly. It is so freaking good. It is a real-time combat game. And in there, you also have a skill tree for the trainer. The trainer literally plays a very active role within Animo. And if you're not able to strike that balance between swapping between your creatures and Animo and the trainer, you're going to lose some fights. It's definitely going to happen. So preparedness is key. And so there are many ways that different monster-taming games can handle this. Some could just do the bare minimum. Just, hey, go out, call an attack, use items, swap out creatures. Some other games are a little bit more involved. Again, this is one of those things where there's no right or wrong answer, because you can make any video game mechanic work, any feature work. It's all in the implementation, baby. A huge aspect that can make or break a monster-taming game 1000% has to be the combat. The combat and moment-to-moment gameplay has to be rock solid. And in this case, this is something that a monster-taming game has to succeed in, because if the game doesn't feel good to play, then a player, they're going to come out thinking that, hey, this is not a fun video game. I'm not having a good time. And for them, they could feel justified in labeling a video game as bad. It didn't deliver on the fronts that they wanted. Now, of course, we all know that not every video game is going to be perfect. We all know that. But when it comes to combat, you definitely want to make sure that it is rock solid. And there are so many ways you can tackle this, right? You can do turn-based combat like Digimon Story Time Stranger, the Pokemon series, Shin Megami Tensei. You can also do real-time combat. Some games that do real-time combat include Voidling Bound, which drops in Q1 of 2026, if I'm not mistaken, and Animo. That's the game I mentioned earlier. And Animo legit has dodge rolls and it has a stamina bar. So when I say real-time combat, I really mean that. You could also do deck-based building monster-taming games. You could do top-down grid-based monster-taming games, just like the Mystery Dungeon series. There are so many ways monster-taming games can implement new and fresh combat within their video games and playstyles, and the possibilities are quite literally endless. An aspect that I find myself enjoying more and more in monster-taming games are the difficulty. Well, actually, not necessarily the difficulty, but more aligned with the challenge. does this game provide a challenge for players? Now, difficulty does not necessarily make a video game good or bad. Again, it's all in the implementation of it. And I'm really starting to enjoy Monster-Taming games that can challenge us players and allow them to have like different ways they want to play to enjoy how they want to. A Monster-Taming game that I really enjoyed the challenge aspect within it is Temtem. Temtem is not a game that you can just take your starter and think you're going to breeze through the entire game by just picking the most super effective attack. You're going to be in for a rude awakening if you want to try to do that. Temtem, there's a lot of strategy and a good bit of challenge that's in that game, and I enjoyed that so much. At the time when Temtem released, that was such a breath of fresh air for Monster-Taming games for me personally, and I really enjoyed that. Temtem also comes built in with a Nuzlocke mode right out the box, and you can also play it co-op as well, so that's pretty dang cool. I'm not even going to lie to you. Now, a Monster-Taming game doesn't have to be difficult for the sake of this being difficult, unless that's just the design philosophy behind the game. If the point of the game is to be extremely difficult, then hey, go for it. Now, for me, I am someone that enjoys implementing strategies and finding out new ways to overcome difficult encounters and different challenges. So I am someone who can enjoy a difficult or challenging video game. I can also enjoy a game with easier challenges. I can enjoy both. And what's a Monster-Taming game without having that team building aspect behind it? Can you customize your teams the way you want to fit your play style? And also, what are the viability of all the monsters within the game? Can any monster become god level, or are there some that's just stuck in F tier forever? What's the range and the spectrum for the viability of the creatures? Because no matter what, a monster or a creature is someone's favorite. No matter what it is, you can pick any creature or monster from any Monster-Taming franchise, and someone out there, like, they're going to be like, hey, that creature, that monster, that thing is my favorite, and they're going to want to build a team around it, understandably so. And the thing is, can they do that? Now, this is a hard thing to try to strike within not just Monster-Taming games, but in video games in general. It's called game balance, and that's something that goes through a lot of play testing and research and trial and error. But players typically tend to enjoy when they can customize the team the way that they want. Now, of course, there are going to be some monsters and creatures that are better than others. Like, come on, man. Like, there has to be a cap somewhere, so that way you can clearly distinguish and delineate, like, oh yeah, this one is, there's a reason why he's the one the most powerful, right? But you want to make sure that you strike a fine-tuned balance, baby, so that way, you know, it can work for everybody. And then, of course, the story within a game, right? A good story can make a good video game an excellent video game. I think that's tried and true. No matter what the video game is, whether it's Monster-Taming, first-person shooter, RPG, open world, it can be a CRPG, a strategy-based game, survival game. I mean, you name it. It could be any of those. You know, a good video game can be elevated to new heights when you have a good story with it as well. Now, some video games have bad stories. Like, I'll be the first to tell you, there are some video games out there that I like, and the story was horrible. I'm pretty sure we all got a video game out there in which we enjoy, but we know the story's bad, right? But the game mechanics and the moment-to-moment combat made the game good, despite the story. Now, would I have appreciated a game to have a good story? Absolutely. But listen, all I'm gonna say is, put some effort into the story, right? Just don't just, you know, just put some stuff together and be like, well, here we go. Yeah, put some effort in, because it'll only help your video game if the story is also on point too. And yeah, that's it. And if you're watching this, I might be live streaming some Monster-Taming games, so swing by stream and say what's up.